Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Karen Reborn. In case you're new here, kindly subscribe to this channel. So today I want to analyze a book that is Brothers Karamazov. Kindly sit back, relax as I do the book. Thank you. Brothers Karamazov is a book by Fyodor Dostoyevsky. This is a book that revolves around five main characters. That is Fyodor Karamazov, that is the father to Dmitry, the father to Alysha, the father to Ivan. Ivan is the firstborn son of Fyodor, of the mother Adelaida, who died of hysterics. Then the second wife bore him, that is Sophia. Sophia bore him two sons, that is Ivan, together with Alysha. Alysha is the last born. Then the fourth son, that is Smidakov. Smidakov comes in after Grigory, together with the Marfa. They went to the garden and found the baby lying there after the rumors which said that Fyodor had impregnated a girl who was not normal upstairs. And after the girl giving birth, she brought the baby at the garden and left the baby there. And so Grigory, together with Marfa, the servants to Fyodor, they took the baby, took care of him, but later made the baby the legitimate son to Fyodor. So there are four brothers, that is Dmitry, also known as Mitya, Ivan, also known as Vanya, then we have Alysha, also known as Alexei, then Smidakov. Fyodor is a father who didn't treat his children so well, and we find that all the children, the three sons, they were brought up with someone else somewhere, an uncle somewhere, made sure that they grew, they were healthy, took care of them, and then after they were now adults, they came back to this family. So you can imagine, during the time that the mother was dead, Adelaida was dead, the first wife to Fyodor, that is the mother to Dmitry, the child had to be given away because Fyodor could not take care of the child. Then giving birth with another woman, that is Sophia, and you can imagine Sophia, she took Sophia away from her family, from a benefactor, someone Sophia used to stay with, because Sophia was an orphan, and came with Sophia, a young girl of 16 years old. This old man took Sophia, stayed with Sophia, impregnated Sophia, two sons. And then after the death of Sophia, the children were to be left again, no one to take care of them, and someone else had to do that. So Fyodor did not raise her children so well because he didn't have time to associate well with the children, to give them the best upbringing as a father. That is why during the case when they're arguing, they're like, what does parenthood mean? Because everyone can be a father. But for you to be a father, it takes the responsibility and the force that you push behind the growth of these children. So it happened the same with the three sons. They grew up lacking the love of the father. The parenthood, it was not there. Someone else brought them up. Then when they're coming back now, they had different opinions about their father, and they cannot treat their father the same way as someone who was raised or brought up with the father present. So Dmitry is someone full of passion and someone who comes back to claim inheritance, because he believes that after the death of the mother, there were inheritance. There are some things that the mother left to the father Fyodor that he's supposed to be owning them, and he came back now to get them back. That is the attitude now that Dmitry comes back with. And remember, Dmitry was an ex-army, was in the army, then comes back for inheritance, and he understands well the law. The next person we have is Ivan. Ivan is someone who is so educated and also an atheist. Because of education, he's now read a lot of books, learned a lot of things, and now believes that there is no God. And he believes that where there is no God, then everything is permitted. You can kill someone and no one can punish you because there is no God. There are no rules to guide you. There are no conducts to guide you or codes. codes of conduct, they are not there to guide you. And now Ivan grows knowing that there is no God. Then Alyosha grows in the monastery. Alyosha lives together with Father Zosima at the monastery where the monks stay, and he's a monk there. And Alyosha believes that there is faith, there is salvation, and there is forgiveness, and believes that at some point my family will be forgiven, my family will be back together. He believes that at some point they will be united. There will be forgiveness between Dmitry and the father, between Smidakov and the father, between Ivan and the father, because they hated their father so much. And now, because he's a Christian, he's a monk, he lives in the monastery, believes that now a time will come that these two people will not live the same way. These three people, or my family, there shall be forgiveness and people are going to live peacefully. Then we have this character, Smidakov. Smidakov, as I said, was brought up by Grigory and Marfa. That is, Grigory is the husband to Marfa. Bringing up, taking care of this child and growing up. Then Fyodor takes the child as an illegitimate son. Fyodor becomes at least close to Dmitry. Sorry, he becomes close to Alyosha because he believes that Alyosha cannot tell lies. Alyosha is a Christian. Then he also believes that Smidakov, who have stayed with him for a long time, he understands him. So because of fear, he gets to tell them a lot of things that goes on in his life, because he believes that they can never betray him. And because now Dmitry comes back, Dmitry is engaged to a lady called Katerina. Katerina now becomes an ex to Dmitry. Dmitry coming back home now, the love thing rotates in the family. Like it becomes so funny because you find that Fyodor is dating the same lady that Dmitry is after. So your father is dating your girlfriend. So Dmitry is not happy. The same father is owing him some money, but the father cannot give it peacefully. The same father is now taking your girlfriend, someone that you wish should be your girlfriend. That is Grashenka. And Grashenka is known in the whole town as a prostitute, someone who just sleeps with men just to get money. That is Grashenka, also known as Grasha. So Grasha, in this book, we see that because of him, there is now hatred between Dmitry together with the father, because they are now rivals because of love. So the father refuses to give back the inheritance to the son, and because he refuses to give back the inheritance, the son is now so sad. The son is not happy with the father. The son is full of vengeance, and because of that, the son gives a letter to Katerina. This letter tells about the murder that he's thinking of. He was thinking about murdering the father. Now he writes a letter, gives it to the girlfriend, Katerina, who is now the ex-girlfriend, give it to Katerina. And Katerina, because of that bitterness, because the boyfriend has left her, reads the letter to the people at the jury, at the court, the people that are there to mediate between the three people or the four people that are committing murder. He reads the letter, and that's now betraying the ex-boyfriend. So in this book, we get that from the beginning of the story, the women character are really struggling in this book. We see Sofia, Adelaida, the wives to Fyodor, they are suffering. So we can say this theme of feminism. Feminism is evident, and because like almost all the ladies that are mentioned in the book, you realize that in one way or another, they suffer or they have been belittled in a way. Because if Grashenka is a prostitute, we find Lys, a small disabled girl who is after a monk. That is Alyosha. We find again in the same book, we have Sofia, who now suffers, then dies of hysteria because of being mistreated with the husband. The same husband marrying another lady, that is Adelaida, dies. And so women are really suffering in the book. And as we can see, even Marfa is also suffering in the book. So there is that theme of feminism. It's so evident. Then there is immorality. How can a father go after the same girl with the son? It's immorality. And then Dimitri thinking of killing the father is also immorality, because that is parricide, committing parricide. Apart from committing the parricide or killing of the one's father, we also have what is known as religion and slavery. The same way Alysha believes in God, Alysha believes in salvation of mankind, Alysha believes in faith. And Alysha makes sure that in the book, he's struggling so much to unite the family members. The same way there is immorality, where Dimitri thinks of killing the father, and at the end of the book we find that Smidakov kills the father. Smidakov is the young son, the legitimate son, and Smidakov suffers from epilepsy. And because he suffers from epilepsy, during the time that the murder of Fyodor takes place, he was ill. And then this murder takes place, and now we can't understand. During the same time Dimitri was away, Ivan was away, Alysha was away. But Smidakov was now down, suffering from epilepsy. And then the father is now murdered. But rumors in this nation, this is a small city. This is a small city called Skotoprigonyevsk. It's a city that rumors spread like bonfire in this city. And because of this rumor, the rumor had it that the 4 sons, all of them participated in killing of their father. And no one can escape that. And during the time that the father was killed, Ivan claimed that he was not around. Smidakov was ill, and even the doctors can prove that he had some attack. So there is enough proof that he was ill and he could not have committed the murder. Then again, Ivan was away out of town. And Ivan being away or out of town, this was a plan. Smidakov planned with Ivan that Ivan should go out of town because he had planned to murder the father. And because he was planning to murder this man, he didn't want Ivan to be around because there will be enough witness, or Ivan would stop him from committing this murder. So Ivan was not around. Ivan was somewhere else in a different city. And then we have Smidakov committing this murder. And before the murder was committed again, if I take you back a bit, we have Dimitri, who claims to Katerina that he will one day kill the father because the father has refused to give him what belongs to him, because the father is so immoral and dating the same woman as he is dating, that is Grashenka. And because of this, Dimitri is not happy and walking around drinking alcohol and claiming that I am going to kill that person, I'm going to kill. And so rumors spread that Dimitri said that he was going to kill the father. And after the death of the father, no one could believe that Dimitri didn't kill the father, because already he said it, that I will kill my father. So that is how we get to understand it. Again, when we come to look at it closely, we again during the time that Dimitri went to attack the father, he went to spy, because after coming from Grashenka's house, she could not find Grashenka, and he thought that Grashenka was with the old man, that is Fyodor. Coming back running so that he could find the father, he meets Grigory, hits Grigory in the head, and remembering that Grigory is the person that brought him up by taking care of him, he now comes, hits the Grigory with a pestle in the head, on the head I mean. After hitting Grigory, now Grigory collapses down, and running, thinking that Grigory was dead, he runs and gets out. During the same time, Smidakov takes the opportunity, comes, kills the father. And after killing the father, we get to see that he claims that he was sick, and the doctors can also prove that during the time he was sick. So the relationship between Grashenka and Dimitri, if we can say that he was the one who killed the father, then it was something that was approved of. This is someone who has denied you your rights. This is someone who is still eyeing your girlfriend. And remember, Grashenka is a prostitute and just wants money from people. And because of this, all this case is taken to the court, and now they stand in front of the jury. People who are there listening to the people who are there to listen to the case at the court, and seated there listening to this case or listening to whatever has taken place. Everyone comes with the evidence. And remember, these people from Skotoprigonyevsk, this small village that has a lot of rumors, they're also here as witnesses. They come to witness against Dmitry because they heard him say, I will kill him. At the same time, other people are coming up with evidences. Then the judge comes up and say, if there was no money, because Dmitry wanted to take away the money because he thought that the money belonged to him, that 3,000 rubles belonged to him. He wanted to take the money. But inside that house, whatever was found there, money wasn't there. It was just an envelope without money. So the judge comes and says that if the envelope didn't have money, then it means there was no robbery because the bed was untouched. Everything was untouched. The only person that knew where Fyodor kept the money was Smidakov. But because Smidakov was sick at the same time, the envelope was empty. Then robbery never happened. The same way, this judge comes and say that if the person who killed Dmitry was not around when Fyodor was killed, Smidakov was sick when Fyodor was, then there was no murder. There was no murder. And you remember, this man is lying there, helplessly dead. Grigory, when told to witness against these people, Grigory is not even sure, sorry. And I think because of hatred that Grigory had for Dmitry, he now stands and testifies and witnesses against Dmitry and says that during the time that I woke up from being unconscious, I found the window and the door opened. And yet when Dmitry was coming out of that place, it wasn't open. And the only person that knew the signs into that house, or the signs that he could use them on the father for him to open the door, was Smidakov and Dmitry. And all of them, they were not there. Then murder didn't happen. There was no murder. And because of this, they come up with an argument. And then we get to the last witness, that is Ivan. Ivan comes with a different story. After everyone and doctors proving everything to be right or to be wrong, Ivan comes back and now tells them that Smidakov has just confessed to him about the death of the father, that is the one who killed the father, and told him everything and how he planned everything. And people can still not believe it because the doctors had proved that Smidakov was dead. And already Smidakov hanged himself immediately after killing the father because he did not want to bear it. And Smidakov is now dead. Then someone else comes with a story and says that my brother is the one who killed. What if, because the brother is dead, Smidakov is dead, you're now coming to defend Dmitry so that Dmitry can be left, and now we assume that the dead person was the murderer. But truly, Smidakov was the murderer of the father. He was the one who committed parricide. And because of this, Smidakov tells Ivan before death, when he was confessing, he tells Ivan that because of you, I killed my father. You told me. Because they could always talk. And as I told you earlier, that Ivan was an atheist. He said that you told me that where there is no law, everything is permitted. And where there is no God, there is no law. And because there is no God, everything is permitted. You can do anything. And because of that, I decided to kill the father because you hated the father. Dmitry hated the father on the other hand and claimed of killing. And because I love my brother so much, I decided to kill the father. And that is how the murder happened. So we are introduced to another person now, Father Zosima, who now is on the deathbed dying. And before he dies, he speaks about forgiveness and says that everyone should learn to forgive each other. That is what Father Zosima now says. That is the spiritual father to Alyosha or Alexei. Then Alyosha, after talking and having some conversation with the father, Father Zosima now dies. The spiritual father to Alyosha. Alyosha now remains with a boy called Alysha. Takes care of Alysha, becomes friend with Alysha. Remember, this boy also had a different story. Dimitri, because of hatred that he had for the father, and because of the hatred that he has for the father to this boy Alysha, he went dragging the father with the hair at the chin around the market, embarrassing him in front of everyone. And then this boy called Alysha, whose father was being embarrassed, and he was called that he had whisk broom. That was a whisk broom. Now, because he had that, they're now talking around, walking around, running and claiming, embarrassing the father. And because of this boy was so bitter. And after that, he went ahead beating people. And at some point, he had to bite Alysha's finger until the blood could ooze out. And after that, Alysha wanted now to know what was going on, what was wrong with this boy, because it's a small boy of 9 years old, now biting people, hitting people. And because of this, he goes back and now takes them, becomes friends with this family, that is Alysha, becomes friends with Alysha. And Alysha, because of the pain, when hitting people, definitely he was hit back. And the stone hit on his chest, and because of that, he became ill until he grew thin and became and died finally. And after dying, the school boys came to the burial. And because Alysha had some love because of this child, for this child, he ensured that he advised these boys and told them that even if he's dead, we must always remember that we can forgive people. We can live peacefully, and we know that wherever he is, he loves you, and we love him too. And that is how the story ends. So in this book, and a lot of themes have been highlighted in this book, we have immorality, we have religion and slavery, how religion has made some people to be slaves, because Alysha could not even talk of religion and tell his brothers this is right and this is right. So we can conclude that all the four brothers participated in killing the father because Alysha knew there is a God. He could not convince this younger brother and tell them that there is God and you cannot do evil because there is punishment. The same way, Ivan was an atheist, and because of that, he convinced the small brother who didn't know anything, and convinced him that where there is no God, everything is permitted and you can commit anything. And that is why Smidakov committed that parricide. And the same way, Dimitri also did not know, just because of his passions and lust and what have you, he decided that he was going to kill the father, even if he didn't participate in killing physically, but he killed. And what becomes so funny in this book, we have the dangerous witnesses with minute evidence. They don't even have evidence, they just have rumors, and they're coming to witness against you. Or they have hatred against someone and they come to witness against that person. And so where the last part of the book, we now get Katerina and Ivan helping Dimitri out of jail and escaping to exile with Grashenka after the death of the father. Thank you so much. I'll analyze another part, analyzing the themes and everything, and post it. Thank you so much and have a blessed time.